Welcome back, dear learners. In today's session, we are going to discuss a very important, a very popular poem, Dover Beach by Matthew Arnold. So, welcome to this class, this e-learning class. Dear friends, this Dover Beach poem, written by Matthew Arnold, his lifespan being 1822 to 1888. देखिए मैथ्यू आर्नल्ड जो थे, he is considered as one of the three greatest poets of the Victorian age. First being Robert Browning, second is Alfred Tennyson, और जो तीसरे थे वो हैं Matthew Arnold. Now the poetry of Matthew Arnold is very important to understand the particular features, particular characteristics of the Victorian age. You can see, if you see, that Dover Beach is actually Arnold's most popular poem. He has written many poems जिसके अंदर विक्टोरियन एज का बहुत सारा हमें क्वालिटी पता चलता है, but this particular poem presents all the qualities which Arnold's poetry has. It presents, जो मैं क्वालिटी की बात कर रहा हूँ, what does it presents? Poet's lament. पोइट का जो लेमेंट है बेसिकली उसके बारे में वो बात करता है. एंड इफ वी सी, he is considered as one of the most serious poets of his times. And actually ऐसे poets को जो बहुत serious होते हैं, those who are concerned about their times and society, we can call that he is like a sage in his analysis of the modern world. In most of his works, he presented a bleak and pessimistic picture. Now, इससे हम ये समझ सकते हैं कि देर आर टू काइंड ऑफ व्यूज. दो तरह से व्यूज होते हैं. एक होता है जो मान के चलते हैं कि एवरीथिंग इज गुड विद दिस वर्ल्ड, जो रॉबर्ट ब्राउनिंग की पोइट्री में हम देखते हैं, एंड वी कॉल सच पोइट्स वेरी ऑप्टिमिस्टिक वंस. दूसरे जो पॉइंट्स होते हैं, दे फाइंड आउट द मेलेडीज, जो कमियां हैं, जो अकॉर्डिंग टू देम द वर्ल्ड इज गोइंग टूवर्ड्स अ डिक्लाइन, जहां वैल्यूज का, मॉरल वैल्यूज का, ह्यूमन वैल्यूज का लगातार डिक्लाइन हो रहा है. मैथ्यू अर्नोल्ड इज फ्रॉम दिस सेकंड क्लास. तो ब्लीक, इट्स अ वेरी डार्क विजन ऑफ द वर्ल्ड, ऑफ द कंटेम्परेरी सोसाइटी, which according to him is becoming more and more materialistic. यहां पर मैं आपको बताना चाहूंगा विक्टोरियन एज की एक और क्वालिटी के बारे में कि दिस वाज अ पीरियड, जो ये पूरी 19th सेंचुरी का स्पेशली जो सेकंड हाफ था, एक तरफ साइंटिफिक डेवलपमेंट थे, प्रोग्रेसिव आइडियाज थे, डार्विन की वजह से लगातार जो क्वेश्चंस उठ रहे थे द ओरिजिन ऑफ स्पीशीज नाम की बुक से. दूसरी तरफ जो ट्रेडिशनल फेथ थे कि दिस वर्ल्ड इज क्रिएटेड बाय गॉड एंड all those traditional teachings, उनके बीच में एक क्लैश था. तो दिस क्लैश क्रिएटेड मेनी डाउट्स अमंग द बिलीवर्स. उससे पहले जब तक ये साइंटिफिक डिस्कवरीज नहीं हुई थी, देयर वाज नो स्केप्टिसिज्म, देयर वाज ओनली फेथ, ब्लाइंड फेथ. लेकिन अब क्वेश्चनिंग होने लग गई थी, और द पोजीशन ऑफ ह्यूमन बीइंग्स इन दिस यूनिवर्स, उसके ऊपर भी डाउट हो रहा था. The loss of faith is his primary concern as he ponders. वो सोचते हैं इस बारे में और वो जानना चाहते हैं इस बारे में upon the melodies of the world. इस पूरी दुनिया की जो मेलेडीज हैं, चाहे वो उनकी पोइट्री हो, चाहे वो उनके क्रिटिकल वर्क्स हो. उनके पॉपुलर वर्क्स की अगर हम बात करें, there are poetic collections, Empedocles on Etna, then the Scholar Gypsy, very popular poem once again, and Thyrsis, it's an elegy. ये उन्होंने commemorate कराया अपने फ्रेंड को. He also wrote some great critical works like Culture and Anarchy. ये इनका बहुत फेमस वर्क है, जो इनके बेसिक आइडियाज हैं, जो इनके थॉट्स हैं रिगार्डिंग कल्चर, रिगार्डिंग किस तरह से जो वैल्यूज है उनमें डिक्लाइन हुआ है, उनको प्रेजेंट करता है. हिज व्यूज रिगार्डिंग द इंपॉर्टेंस ऑफ कल्चर एंड ट्रेडिशंस एंड द रोल ऑफ पोएट्री इन ह्यूमन लाइफ. नाउ डोवर बीच आर्नल्ड की सबसे पॉपुलर पोएम है, जैसे मैंने आपको बताया, क्योंकि ये इट्स अ लेमेंट. दिस पोएम इज अ सॉर्ट ऑफ लेमेंट, एंड इट लेमेंट किस चीज के ऊपर है? लॉस ऑफ फेथ इन गॉड, गॉड एंड अमंग ह्यूमैनिटी इटसेल्फ, जो लॉस है उसके ऊपर ये लिखती है. The poem was written when Arnold stayed at Dover. Now, Dover is a geographical position. You can see that this is part of Britain and this is the southeast area. and there is a strait of Dover in English Channel. This is English Sea. वहां पर there is a strait, a very narrow body of water. डोवर टाउन की वजह से इसको डोवर बीच यहाँ बोला जाता है. एंड ऑन द अदर हैंड ऑफ दिस स्ट्रेट इज फ्रांस. And he was staying during his honeymoon, and though poem was published almost 7-8 years later 1867 में, लिखी शायद 1861 के आसपास गई हो. And Arnold was worried. What were the thoughts? कौन से वो thoughts थे जिन्होंने इस poem को inspire करा? The growing skepticism, जो feeling of doubt थी, questioning थी about religious belief, उनके ऊपर उनका ध्यान गया. And scientific discoveries, especially डार्विन की जो origin of species के publication के बाद, and he concluded this would lead, अगर हम ये skepticism, अगर ये faith कम होता गया, this would lead to a disaster. The poem is in form of a dramatic monologue. जो poem है वो उसको हम elegy भी count कर सकते हैं because it is very serious in its tone और बहुत somber way में लिखी गई है. But form के बारे में बात करें typical, तो it is a dramatic monologue. Now what is a dramatic monologue? Dramatic monologue is a poem in which there is only one speaker. That is why monologue. Only one person speaks, and the situation is a sort of dramatic. Now this poem lacks we can say the dramatic tension. जो dramatic monologues रॉबर्ट ब्राउनिंग के हैं जिनके अंदर एक dramatic tension पाई जाती है, this poem lacks this. But still the setting is almost for a dramatic monologue because there is only one speaker and also there is a listener. Then speaker of the poem is generally we can take as the poet himself, Matthew Arnold himself. हालांकि ऐसा जरूरी नहीं होता है. और रॉबर्ट ब्राउनिंग के जो ड्रामेटिक मोनोलॉग्स होते हैं उनके अंदर स्पीकर इज ऑलवेज सम other person, some third person, but in this particular case we can say that the poet himself is the speaker. And who is the listener? Initially we don't have the idea, केवल एक reference है, but later we come to realize it must be his beloved or his wife. The setting, the title indicates, जो title खुद ही है, Dover Beach, which is a coast town in South England. And on one side of this Dover Beach we have the southern part of England, and on the other hand we have France, country of France. So the poet is standing there and looking at the beach. The poem begins with a natural description, natural harmony, and works as the contrast for the human world in which there is only a chaos. इस पॉइंट के साथ हम सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट जो चीज़ हमें ध्यान रखनी है वो ये है कि किस तरह से पॉइंट बैलेंस करते हैं, शो करते हैं दैट देयर इज अ नेचुरल वर्ल्ड एंड देन व्हाट हैपेंस इन दिस पर्टिकुलर गुड पीसफुल वर्ल्ड. We begin the poem in the very first stanza. If you look carefully, the sea is calm tonight, the tide is full, the moon lies fair upon the streets. On the French coast, the light gleams and is gone. The cliffs of England stand, glimmering and vast, out in the tranquil bay. These are the opening lines of the poem. If you pay a little attention, you will find that the opening line suggests a peaceful natural atmosphere. Look at the adjective calm. There is calmness. Then the tide is full. There is moon lies fair, obviously reflection of moon, चंद्रमा की जो छवि है on the waves. But it is also fair. There is no disturbance. So complete. There is impression of tranquility and balance. And even look at these three phrases. The tide is full, the moon lies fair upon the straits. How very short phrases in which even you can see that there is an alliteration, full, fair, is, lies, upon the strait. So everything seems to be quite in harmony and in balanced manner. But when the poet says for the first time, the French coast, the light gleams and is gone. Though it is a very natural occurrence, जो moonlight है वो reflect हो रही है, दिख रही है और जा रही है. It may be because of some lighthouse, but actually we can say it is first metaphorical suggestion about the fluctuation. Fluctuation means up and down. Fluctuation means change. Fluctuation of faith in God and religion. So, in the very first stanza, we can see that the poet presents a natural harmony, and then he hints that there may be something which result in disturbing of this balance. तो पहली जो लाइन है उनमें कहना क्या चाह रहा है कि एटमॉस्फेयर बिल्कुल सी जो है बिल्कुल काम है, देयर इज नो वी कैन से अपहीवल, जो इट्स अ फुल मून नाइट, टाइड जो है वो फुल है, मून की लाइट जो है वो भी फेयर है स्ट्रेट्स के अंदर, फ्रेंच कोस्ट के ऊपर देयर मे बी अ लाइट हाउस और मे बी सम अदर रीजन, वहां पर लाइट ग्लीम्स एक बार दिखती है, ग्लीम करती है एंड इज गॉन और फिर चली जाती है। जो इंग्लिश क्लिफ्स है, इंग्लैंड की साइड की क्लिफ मींस वेरी हाई एंड वेरी शार्प काइंड ऑफ रिजेस, वो स्टैंड ग्लिमरिंग, वो स्टैंड वास्ट। ग्लिमरिंग एंड वास्ट, दे आर बेसिकली लाइमस्टोन, इंग्लिश जो कोस्ट पर रॉक्स हैं लाइमस्टोन की है, तो लगातार वाटर की वजह से वो वाइट हो चुकी हैं, लाइमस्टोन उनमें इरोड होता जा रहा है, हटता जा रहा है। ग्लिमरिंग एंड वास्ट आउट इन ट्रैंक्विल बे, he started with calm and then once again tranquil, so it's a very calm kind of thing. दिस इज इंपॉर्टेंट टू नोट, दो बार उन्होंने इस एडजेक्टिव को यूज करा है, सिनोनिम्स हैं जो आपस में, टू टू बेसिकली डिस्क्राइब द सेरेनिटी, द पीस ऑफ द एटमॉस्फेयर। Come to the window, sweet is the night air, only from the long line of spray where the sea meets the moon blanched land. Listen, you hear the grating roar of pebbles which the waves draw back and fling at their return up the high strand. Begin and cease and then again begin with tremulous cadence slow and bring the eternal note of sadness. This is the second part of the first stanza, and now for the first time we witness that there is another person come to the window. Now the poet is obviously talking to his partner, his beloved, his wife, because still he says that it is a very good atmosphere, it's a very pleasant atmosphere, sweet is the night air. But in the very next line, from the long line of spray where the sea meets the moon blanched land. Look at this beautiful natural imagery. There is spray of the waves where where the sea waves are coming and they are touching the moon blanched land which is blanched. Blanched means white. जो मून लाइट है, चांदनी है, उसका जो दूधिया रंग है, that is why the whole land is looking white, and where they meet, listen, then the poet is talking to his partner that listen carefully, you hear the grating roar. It's a kind of, we can say, hyperbole, exaggerated. It's just pebbles, and grating is which is not pleasant to ear, जो सुनने में अच्छा नहीं हो, कर्कश उसके साथ sound है. This is the first adjective actually which is not harmonious. And then roar, there is garjana, obviously there is sound of waves, but roar kiska hai? Pebbles. Now this is something ironic. Pebbles are very small round smooth stones जो लगातार रोलिंग की वजह से, वेव की वजह से वो लगातार आ रहे हैं. वेव्स ड्रॉ बैक, जो वेव्स अपने साथ ड्रॉ बैक ले जाती हैं, एंड फ्लिंग एट देयर रिटर्न, और जब वो वापस आती हैं कोस्ट की तरफ, दे फ्लिंग देम अप द हाई स्ट्रैंड, जो हाई कोस्ट है वहां पर उनको पुश करती है, उछाल देती है. Now this is quite a natural occurrence, लगातार ये चीज होती है. And once again in the very first part there is very balanced line, come to the window, sweet is the night air. But then you look at this particular alliterative effect, long line, spray, sea, meets, moon, blanch, sound, land, listen. So poet is once again trying to find kind of repetition or harmony, but this word grating roar, just as it comes, everything changes. Even if we look at the rhyming, air, and then we find it nothing like that. Spray, once again there is nothing. Land, strand, fling, bring, begin, in. Only there is row and air, they are half rhyming. क्या शो हो रहा है? ये दिखा रहा है कि जो बैलेंस था, जो हार्मनी थी, दिस इज ब्रेकिंग. Begin and cease, and then again begin, tremulous, cadence, slow. This is the music of universe. This is the music of sea. But tremulous means having a kind of nervousness. Cadence is rhythm, slow. Actually, word order should be slow, tremulous, cadence. But the poet takes the liberty and says it is tremulous, cadence, slow. The poet moves to the next stanza and says, Sophocles long ago heard it on the Aegean, and it brought into his mind the turbid ebb and flow of human misery. Now, Sophocles. Sophocles was the Greek tragic dramatist, belonged to the 5th century, known for his tragic vision of the world. He wrote some great tragedies. Antigone is one of his famous plays, or Antigone के अंदर he discusses about this uh, turbid ebb and flow. Turbid means muddy, which is not clear. He heard it on the Aegean Sea. The poet is hearing, the present speaker is hearing at the English Sea. Sophocles, because he belonged to the Greece, he heard it at the Aegean or Mediterranean Sea. It brought into his mind, listening to this particular music, sad music of sea. Sophocles was inspired with some thoughts, ebb and flow of human misery, how human life is dictated. लगातार human life में क्या होता है? ebb and flow होता रहता है human misery का. This is what I informed you. This is Greece, and here you can see agency, and Sophocles was obviously inspired by this particular thing, the turbid ebb and flow. Now, of human misery, he says, and then the poet says, we find also in the sound a thought, hearing it by this distant northern sea. The poet says that just like Sophocles was inspired with these thoughts, we also find in the sound. Now, a thought, which is thought similar to that of Sophocles. What is that thought? Turbid ebb and flow of human misery. Now, Arnold, by using the allusion of Sophocles, is universalizing that it is not unique to him. केवल उन्हीं को ये विचार नहीं आ रहे हैं. Sophocles also thought similarly. Sound of the sea inspires similar thoughts in all times and places. Whether the poet who is on the coast town of England, whether Sophocles 6th, 5th century back, so this sound of sea inspire the same kind of thoughts. The poem moves now to the metaphorical center, and the poet says, the sea of faith was once, too, at the full, and round earth's shore lie the folds of a bright girdle furled. He uses metaphor, he uses simile to point out his real worries. Uh, he says, okay, the music it's enough, but the sea of faith, the metaphor, the sea of faith, which just like जो समुद्र है वो पूरी धरती पर चारों तरफ फैला हुआ है, there was a time when the sea of faith was also full, and round earth's shore, धरती के चारों तरफ, it lay like it was bound on the earth, folds of a bright girdle fern. Folds means layers, 1 2 3 4. तो जितनी layers होंगी उतना ही tightly object क्या होगा, बंद होगा. And it was a girdle. Girdle is kind of a belt which is used to hold things together. Furled is लिपटा हुआ था. So you can see two figures of speech. First, sea of faith, it's a metaphor. Then, like the folds, it's a simile. The poet uses these two to point out that there was a time when the earth was full of faith, a kind of, we can say, blind faith. Then the metaphor of sea gives the idea, two ideas. The depth, जैसे सी क्या है, immeasurable depth है, and great presence of faith. जिस तरह से सी की प्रेजेंस जबरदस्त है, हर तरफ है, उसी तरह से faith all pervasive था. In religion, then the simile of girdle suggests how everyone was encircled like a fold, सब एक साथ इसके अंदर थे. But now I only hear its melancholy, long, withdrawing roar, retreating to the breath of night wind down the vast edges drear and naked shingles of the world. You can look at this image. The earth covered with water, it's look beautiful. But when it retreats, you have naked shingles of the world. Naked shingles means all our weakness, all our, we can say, such qualities which were covered, which were hidden due to presence of faith. जैसे ही विड्रॉ होने लगा, जैसे ही सी ऑफ फेथ कम होने लगा, जैसे ही ह्यूमैनिटी का गॉड और रिलीजन के अंदर भरोसा कम होने लगा, दे आर एक्सपोज्ड, दे आर रिट्रीटिंग actually. But I only hear its melancholy. Look at this shingle beach retreating to the breath of night wind. Night wind is wind of doubt. Night is always associated with something evil. So night wind jo hai, it's doubt, it's questions, it's skepticism. Vast ages drear, which is we can say, which is quite we are afraid of looking at this thing. And all the naked shingles of the world, all these things are exposed, which were earlier hidden, which were earlier quite invisible to us. Now I will ask your attention to one particular object, the first and this third stanza, and you can see how Arnold is contrasting them. Look at this, the sea, the sea. There was actually sea and it is actually a metaphorical sea. Then tide is full. Here once again he used at the full. Then gleams and almost similar adjective, bright. Then we have glimmering, sorry, the gleams and glimmering both are together, and here we have bright. Then we have, it's a slight technical glitch. We have the slide, which waves draw back and fling upon their return. So once again, withdraw and retreat. So these things you can compare in your poem also, that how the poet has contrasted these two things. And then we have moon blanched land along with naked shingles of the world. This is the last stanza. The poet is desperate and he sees no remedy. And you look at these lines, he says, "Ah, love, let us be true to one another. For the world, which seems to lie before us like a land of dreams, so various, so beautiful, so new." You can see how he is pointing out the world seems, it is not actually according to the poet. Poet doesn't think that the world is a land of dreams. Once again he uses a simile, which to lie before us like a land of dreams. It seems that it is a dream world. ये दुनिया जो है ये बहुत ऐसा लगता है जैसे सपनों की दुनिया हो. Look at how he is repeating once again, so various, so beautiful, so new. This is figure of speech, anaphora. Anaphora is when we repeat a word or a phrase again and again in a stanza. So the poet is asking his beloved, उनको कह रहा है कि let us be true to one another. There is lack of faith among human beings. उनमें आपस में faith नहीं है, but at least we can be faithful to each other. एक दूसरे के साथ तो हम faithful हो सकते हैं, because this world जो हमें लगता क्या है कि it is various, there is a variety, there is beauty, there is newness everywhere. Actually feel this world is only appears, केवल दिखता ऐसा है good place to live without variety and beauty, but the reality is quite opposite. What is the reality? Look at use of alliteration, so many L sound, love, lack, lie, like, land, and this is the reality. Hath really neither joy nor love nor light, nor certitude, nor peace, nor help for pain. So many negatives. And we are here as on a darkling plain, swept with confused alarms of struggle and flight, where ignorant armies clash by night. He ends the poem with a very extended simile. We will see first, look at so many negatives, neither, nor. This shows that how utterly he believes that there is nothing positive, nothing good in this world. There is no joy, love, light, certitude, certainty, no peace, no help for pain. Then he used an extended simile. We are here as on a darkling plain. Once again, darkness. Once again, you can see that there is complete ignorance, swept with confused alarms. Confusion means we are not sure what we have to do. Even we have to fight. Fight with whom? Who is our enemy? Who is our friend? Struggle and flight. Should we fight or should we escape? Should we struggle? Should we fly? Ignorant armies clash by night. Whose are these armies? These armies are armies of ideologies, thoughts, faiths, convictions. They are ignorant of each other. We do not know where we should follow, which one we should follow. You can see darkening plains swept with confused alarms. Sometimes it seems that we should fight for this cause, but very next time it appears that it is a lost cause. Actually, Arnold is alluding to Thucydides' account of Battle of Epipolo, and Athenian. This army fought against an army of Syracusans at night. But metaphorically, it means battle between different ideologies of clash between science and religion, tradition and modernity, materialism and spirituality. These all were actually part of Victorian clash of thoughts. So Arnold finishes this poem at a very despairing note, at a very negative note, and says, in this world, only hope is that we two, the husband and wife, they can remain faithful to each other. So if we talk about the stanza form, the poem is quite unique because it was written before 20th century. At that time, it was unheard of. There are four stanzas, but each stanza has different number of lines. First 14 lines, second 6, third 8, and fourth 9 lines. Rhyme is scheme I have already shown you. It's a quite irregular. Some lines rhyme, but some don't. So we can say Arnold is following actually free verse, which was later very beautifully and poetically used and effectively used by poets like T.S. Eliot. Dominant meter of the poem is iambic. Most of the lines are written in iambic meter, which is radam, one unstressed, then the stressed one. But once again, there are many lines which have different meters. Okay, dear friends, that was all for this poem particular. I hope I was able to make you clear, and we will soon meet in our next poem.